Okay, class, now that we have gathered around our Math Congress area, we are going to be talking about measurement today. Now, we've already practiced measuring feet and inches and sometimes centimeters, but we're going to get into what is called the metric system of measurement. So using the metric system of measurement, we're going to be focusing on meters, centimeters, and kilometers. And also we're going to look at the relationship between feet and meters. And so then we can have a point of reference that we can always go back to when we're talking about measurement. So first of all, thumbs up if you can tell me what the length means. What does length mean? When we're talking about length, what are we talking about when we're measuring length? Yes.
How long something is.
How long something is. So with your arms, show me how long something would be. Good. So we're talking about length, how long an object is. What about if we're talking about height? What would we measure if we're talking about measuring height? Show me with your arms. Good. We're measuring height. So lengthwise, height-wise. Lengthwise, height-wise. Good. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to make some predictions. First I'm going to hand out what's called an anticipation guide. And we've already done a couple of these before. So what we are going to do is we are going to make predictions before we measure objects, and then we will talk about the actual measurement after we measure the object. So I'm just going to explain this just a little bit. The anticipation guide has statements on it. The statements on the anticipation guide read, "The largest blue whale ever found was 29 meters long. A standard school bus is exactly 5 centimeters long." So we are going to be looking at these statements and thinking about them and wondering if they are true or false. So we will read the statement, and then if you think it's false, we're going to make a prediction about how long or how high the object might be. So for an example, the example says, a dog measures about 50 centimeters long. I'm thinking about this in my mind, and I'm thinking a dog is probably more than 50 centimeters long. So before my measurement, I am going to disagree with the statement. So I'm going to write a D. And then my before measurement prediction. I think I'm going to predict, what should we predict? Someone say, how much should we predict that a dog measures lengthwise? How long do you think?
100 centimeters.
100 centimeters. So we're going to write in the before measurement prediction 100 centimeters. Then we're actually going to go out and measure the object and then write our actual measurement and see if we still disagree or agree with the statement after we've measured. Okay, so I'm going to hand these out. And first of all, we have 4 objects on the back. So what we're going to do is we're going to just talk a little bit about those objects so we know what they are before we make predictions. So one of those objects is the Empire State Building. Oh my goodness, who thinks they know what the Empire State Building is? Thumbs up if you think you know. Yes.
It's a big building.
It's a big building. And where is this big building? Do we know where this big building is located in our country? No. The Empire State Building is located in New York City, New York, and it is one of the tallest buildings in New York City. So you see in this picture, it's a lot taller than all of the other buildings, and way down here you can see the street. So it's pretty tall, as you can see. So what we're going to do is we are going to make a prediction about how tall you think the Empire State Building is. But how do you think we're going to measure it using meters and centimeters and kilometers? How do you think we'd measure it? Do you think we'd measure it lengthwise or height-wise? Yes.
Height.
You think you'd measure height. Why do you think that you would measure height-wise and not lengthwise?
Because it's so tall. It goes really up in the air.
Good, it's so tall. When you first look at it, the first thing you think is, oh my goodness, that building is tall. Good. So, but we're going to talk about the units that we measure with. The units that we're going to measure the Empire State Building with is called meters. Now this is a meter stick. This is 1 meter. So if you stacked these on top of each other, like this, how many times do you think that the Empire State Building, how many times do you think the meter stick would stack on top of each other before it reached the top? So on your anticipation guides, go ahead and make a prediction about how many meters the Empire State Building is going to be tall. Go ahead and make a prediction, and when you're done, put your thumbs up. Good, so we all have our predictions. Okay, so turn to the partner next to you and tell them what your prediction is of the Empire State Building. So go ahead and turn to your partner and tell them what you think their prediction is of how many meters tall.
50.
250.
Oh.
Ooh, so we hear 50 meters and 250 meters tall. That's a pretty big range, isn't it? So on your anticipation guide, I want you to write your before prediction of how tall you think the Empire State Building is. So on your anticipation guide, just go ahead and write the before measurement prediction. Has everyone done that? Okay, good. So now what I have here is I have string, and this string shows us how tall the Empire State Building actually is. Now, will we be able to stretch it out height-wise? Do you think we'd be able to stretch out 250 meters tall? No, because we're not 250 meters tall, are we? So we're going to have to measure it out lengthwise and pretend that when we flip it up so that it's height-wise, it's going to be the same measurement. Okay, so I need everyone to stand up and spread around the room, and we will stretch this string out, and then we will measure it together. So everyone go stand up on your feet and move about the room.